Hello and welcome to the New Normal, a webinar for working professionals. I'm Kaushik Majumdar, author and workplace challenge consultant. The pandemic in last 6 months have impacted all of us in various degree, in various forms. So for the working professionals, their professional lives have been hugely impacted. Now, in the new normal, today's topic is pandemic and its impact on jobs in US and India, in which I'm going to discuss the magnitude of the impact on the job market and how to deal with the situation with my today's guest. So ladies and gentlemen, today in this webinar, The New Normal, we are joined by serial entrepreneur from Texas, US, Yogesh Kondaskar. In his 25 years illustrious career as an American Indian business owner, Yogesh is the CEO of Bistion and the co-founder of Connexion. Both the companies have their footprints in India. Yogesh is also an honorary member of prestigious Forbes Technology Council. Last but not the least, Yogesh hosts the podcast Mantra of Happiness, an initiative he has taken to serve the professional community. Welcome to the New Normal, Yogesh. Would like to say something to the viewers, and also would love to know about your latest venture, which is the Connexion. Please, Yogesh, over to you.
Thanks, Kaushik. Thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for the introduction. Like you said, Connexion is the startup that I launched recently. It's a positive social network platform. If you look at the social media right now, there's a lot of negativity because of the polarization that we have in our society, and this is impacting everybody's life. It's bringing the discussions that we are having and everything. It's impacting people's mental balance, and they don't even realize that. And second problem that with the whole conversation, the negative conversation that we have on social media right now, is that it's taking the attention away from the issues that we need to be talking about, like social issues, social goodness issues, or climate change, and the poverty issues and things like that, that we as a community and those who are established in their professions can support those, and even others, doing some volunteer opportunities and things like that. So that's basically the idea of the platform, to promote acts of kindness that people do, positivity, positive quotes, motivational stories, and things like that, and inspire people to do good deeds. Look at those inspiration and do good deeds and post their good deeds. And also the second objective is to promote social efforts. So NGOs and individuals who are doing efforts for the society, so the platform is going to promote them and feature them on the platform, so they get the coverage they need, as well as they get any volunteers and donor support that they need to continue doing their work.
So before we go on to the discussion session, quickly, do you have any plans for India as far as your new venture is concerned?
Definitely. So Connexion, the first market that we are launching Connexion is in fact India. Especially because of the pandemic that happened, and we see that there's definite need because of the climate issues and social issues that need attention in India. And especially the pandemic basically took this issue to a next level, where we thought that we need to be doing something, and we decided to launch the platform in India as the first market. So the app is going to be available we are right now in the process of working with Apple and Android to get the app live. We are going through the little back and forth for making sure that the platform complies with their rules. But that's where it is, and we are expecting that it should be live in a week or so.
Congratulations. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Yogesh. So if we can sort of, now we can focus on the issue at hand, which is the pandemic and its impact on the job market in India and US. As I stated in my opening comment, the pandemic has snatched livelihood of many in Indian job market and in Indian business circles. So the data available on the internet is quite startling. It says that 13 crores, that is 130 million people, salaried professionals lost their jobs by July, and the number is expected to cross 20 crore, that is 200 million by the end of this year, 2020. So the situation looks very grim when you see the data. And I would like to stress on the point that we are talking about just the salaried employees here when you talk this data. If you add the number of businesses and that closed down and the people who lost jobs in the unorganized sector, the number would increase manifold. Now, my question, Yogesh, to you is, how is the situation in US job market? And since you are having business interest in both India and US, how do you see the US situation impacts the Indian market, Indian job market?
Right, the US situation is no different. There is like millions of jobs lost in United States as well. And like there are certain sectors which have been disproportionately impacted because of this, like, be it retail, be it hospitality. So some sectors have been like really almost decimated because of the pandemic. So on the second part of your question, so basically impact of this on the jobs in the technology jobs in India, I'm sure you're referring about. So I think, there I see like a sort of a light at the end of the tunnel. So basically, like with this, what is happening is the need to sort of do more on tech, more in technology solutions for businesses to implement projects that can handle something like this, that can cater to working from home or, dependent on like, using technology to do certain monotonous work and things like that. Those projects are going to like, I see a lot of clients initiating projects, discussing projects, talking about projects. And so that is going to mean more work for IT. And a lot of that work should be coming to India. So, I think starting next year, the Indian outsourcing industry, IT outsourcing, should start seeing more jobs coming in from
search.
Yes.
Right. So that's the silver lining.
Right.
So still we have a 4 months barrier 4 months, gap to close this particular year, 2020, which is so far is not very great to talk about. But as you mentioned that once, next year, early next year, we presumably with the advent of the medicine and all these things, also on the job front, things would get better as well. Right. So the next point, which is that, as I mentioned, that I'm sure things would change, and we already see people are being innovative and trying to come out of this situation by implementing out of the box ideas. Now the question is, do you think in the new normal, the way business was done 6 months back, that will change, like the business model, the culture, the employee-employee relationship, the relationship with the customer? How do you look at it in say, when you're ahead of the pandemic?
Right. That is definitely going to change. We are already seeing a lot of businesses moving their jobs to work from home. Businesses that were not even like traditionally, in the IT sector, there were a lot of companies which were allowing employees to work from home on certain days and things like that. But other sectors which were not really using work from home are starting to shift some of their employees to allow them to work from home and things like that. So those things are definitely going to change with the pandemic. I see, like, I talk to clients, and there are clients who are, getting rid of offices and looking at restructuring their teams and having some a very limited team work out of office and the rest of the teams continue to work out of homes, even beyond the pandemic. So those things are definitely going to change. I mean, there are certain jobs that have to be in office, which are definitely going to come back, but there are some others which will be moving to like work from home for good, because of the pandemic. So it's definitely going to change the way we do. So the work from home is something, which is like the future of work or work from home, and all of these ideas were things that have been talked about for the past few years, but I think pandemic is just going to put it on a fast burner and get these things pushed out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at it from the Indian perspective, I mean, I see companies have already started operating differently. In my time, how I see was that working from home, we belong to the IT industry, and we were familiar with the working from home strategy or way of working. But I personally never felt comfortable working from home, simply because I found that the home comfort was too overwhelming, right? And if I had a escalation to deal with, or a client meeting to deal with, I just working from home was something which I always tried to avoid, simply because I was more worried about the network connectivity, or the phone connectivity, or sometimes the power is down. So those are the things which used to be sort of which used to be the problem. So I used to always I felt always that I'm more productive at working from office than working from home. But I see there are in traditionally many companies, many organizations in India are not very receptive or accommodating towards the idea of working from home earlier, but they have to adapt to the new normal. But I see, in India, like in tier 2 cities, where we stay like in a home of 2 BHK, how many people, right? In cities like Mumbai, say in a 2 BHK, have a secluded space to work for office work, will always a struggle, right? That's something which is always a struggle. Another part of is that when I'm talking about the female working professionals, like if they're in the office, they can concentrate on the work, but they're at home, they probably had to look into the home stuff, right? To the kids, and also parallelly they have to work on their office work.
Right.
So I am particularly see that's a huge problem for them. So and another thing is that we never bothered about our lunch when we are walking in the office. So we have a call or a meeting, we never thought that we would not be keeping the meeting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because that is our lunch time. But when I'm at home, it's the lunch time, and it's not that my son is having lunch at a different time, I'm having a different time. It's not like that. So these are the things, this is the mindset which we have to change, but which I see gradually changing. But for us, we are already in that mode. So for us, it's not something which is a huge impact. But for the industries like manufacturing industries or retail industries, those where the foods on the ground were needed, working from home is a new concept for them. But I'm sure gradually they also would adapt and sort of warm up to that strategy. So yeah, thank you, Yogesh. The next point is that as the stats, we talked about the stats, right? And it paints a green picture. How do you see employees best deal with the situation? What is that you think employees could do to deal with the situation? Yeah, Yogesh, over to you.
So employees to deal with the situation, as in you mean the employees to deal with like the
job loss or the risk that they're having on the verge of losing their jobs, or some risk of insecurity, job insecurity. So those are the people I'm talking about.
Right. So
because by and large everybody's affected.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like so those who have those who have already have lost jobs, and those who are in the middle of job market, I mean, I would like advise them that to look at this as an opportunity. I mean, because like there's ton of I mean, like if there was a entrepreneurial dream that they wanted to chase, or there was certain things that I know the job market is probably going to take a few months to pick up. Okay, but I mean, I would suggest that they utilize that time into like either reskilling themselves, getting up to speed, and learning new areas and new technologies, or new whatever skill set that they can acquire. And also the second thing I would suggest is like, I mean, if there's a entrepreneurial dream that they wanted to pursue, or there was something else that they wanted to do, I mean, this is the time to do it right now. So to get into something new and do something on the, like, use that time effectively. I think another thing which is going to pick up with this thing is going to be the gig economy kind of jobs. So those are again going to get, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who will make a switch from the 9-to-5 jobs to doing a gig economy job and supporting, doing some independent work on the side, and giving more time for themselves, or planning their own schedules and making their own plans. So I think that is also going to be happening on the sidelines of this because of this pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic perspective. I'll just add to that, Yogesh, that 2017 I saw this Huffington Post article where they're saying that 10 years down the line, the jobs that we were seeing today, that was in 2017, 85% of those jobs would be non-existent. So what that says is that today's 85% jobs, or rather 10 years down the line, the jobs that are going to have, we don't know about them today. 85% of them we don't know today. So the point I'm trying to make it that, make here is that today's skill or today's knowledge or today's experience is not going to help you 5 years down the line.
Right.
Okay. So, and that time in 2017, they're talking about 10 years. And today, with the COVID situation, it has aggravated, right? I'm looking at in next 2 to 3 years, things are going to change massively. So the skill which were helping you, the knowledge which was helping you, the experience which was helping you 5 years down the line, even 2 years back, would be absolutely obsolete. So the point I'm trying to make is that you have to be constantly learning and reinventing yourself, repackaging yourself, which is very important to survive in this market. If you rely on your past performance, past knowledge and experience and skills, then things will be difficult. So the next point, Yogesh, is that
I think yeah. So
yeah.
To that point, I think I would add that yes, I mean, like, when it comes to artificial intelligence and
we'll talk about that later. That's
okay.
The point we're going to touch upon. Okay, that's a very important topic. So yeah, we have that question for you.
Okay.
So the next point which I would like to dwell into is that, how do you suggest, it's very close to my emotionally close to me, how do you suggest employees keep themselves motivated, keep their hopes high, and adapt to the situation? What is your view on that? What do you suggest to them?
Right. So there is, when it comes to motivating employees, there's two aspects of it. One is things that HR and the business management need to plan for to make sure that the employees are motivated, and then on the personal side, what employees need to do themselves to keep themselves motivated during the lockdown and during all the everything that is going on with the pandemic. So as far as the first one, what HR needs to do, I see some companies implementing very good strategies. They are planning Zoom sessions, like Zoom happy hours within the team, and non productivity non-work related activities. So they are planning like happy hour, or tea breaks, like even like 10 minutes tea break in between, where employees can get together and chat with each other, things like that. So basically, HR has to come up and find creative ways of keeping people motivated during like working from home, because we are a very social animals, and we need people touch. And although like we have our families at home and everything, but still I think like we need most people need like that extra, like just intermingling with people to keep ourselves motivated and going. And then the second thing I would say for everyone, this applies to whether you are like the working professionals and non-working, anybody and everybody, that everybody has to get some fresh air. I mean, lockdown is real. You have to like follow the government rules and make sure that you stay indoor whenever you have to. But whenever you get a chance, when it's safe to do so, you follow the social distancing rule. But you need to get out, get some fresh air, get some sunlight. Sunlight is also essential from getting vitamin D3, for which is essential as well for your immunity and things like that. But even like otherwise, to keep yourself fresh and motivated, to recharge yourself, people have to get out of their home. Maybe they can even just go to their balconies and like get some fresh air, but look at the people on the road or do something, but just get out of that whole setting and do something different
so rebooting yourself.
Right.
Rebooting oneself.
Exactly.
Say after some time, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's something which I really think is a very good idea. So I just quickly go through 2 points which has helped me keeping myself composed and cool in this difficult situation. And the first one is that don't beat yourself with the things that you are out of control, that not under your control, right? Which is some, most of the times we keep doing that. See, we all are impacted. Okay, it's a pandemic which has impacted us all. So denial or self-pity would not help. Okay, so first thing you have to do is you have to accept it, that this is a problem, and accept it. And instead of playing the victim card and blaming it to somebody else, and I'm the victim of the situation, I'm victim of the government policies, these, that, hundreds of things, it's not going to help. First accept it, without playing the victim card, and then try to find a solution. See, I truly believe that if I want to be happy, then nobody can makes me unhappy. And similarly, if I want to be sad, then no one can bring joy into my life. Not possible.
Right.
So owning up whatever situation I'm in and do whatever it takes to change it. That's very important. Whatever it takes to change it. Use internal motivation rather than waiting for external triggers to change the situation, to change in you. And most importantly, here on this particular point, love yourself. It's very important. Don't fall into the trap of self-pity. This is there are people who blame themselves. They get into a self-pity mode. Don't do that, because that will pull you down. So love yourself and do whatever it takes to get out of the situation. That's the first point. Second point is don't lose momentum. What do I mean by that? See, success is all about keeping up with the momentum. In my case, when I go to bed at night, I have absolute clarity about what I'm going to do every hour the next day. Now, how it helps is that this will keep me occupied, and that don't let the negativity come into my system. I don't look at the Facebook comments on public articles, avoid the newspapers, avoid being critical to any views, avoid try to teach or any lesson to anybody. I don't want to do that. I don't react. Okay, so what it does is that it keeps me calm and composed, and sort of conserve the positivity amongst me, within me, right? So, because these things ultimately what they do is that those things will dump all the junk, negative thought into my mind, and it's not going to help. So these are the two things beyond what Yogesh you have said about HR's jobs and all.
Right.
It has helped me immensely.
So I mean, yeah, you made a very interesting point. You know, like some of the things that you talk about sound very similar to, I think what I'm going to be talking about in my podcast as well, the mantra of happiness, how to look for little things where you can find happiness and not get bogged down by the things that bother us and stress us out. So that's very essential. Yeah, you said it right. And also, one piece of advice if I have to give to people, I would say, stay away from news media. News media, you're not losing on anything if you're not watching news. Maybe you can look at the newspaper once in a while, look at the headlines or look at like, yeah, like, uh, but stay away from news media and you will find that the world is much more happier than what they are trying to tell you.
Project. Yeah, absolutely, totally agree. The next point which I would love to know from you is that of course there is a political aspect of it, but we don't want to delve into that, but would love to know post US election, would the job scenario would get better there? Of course, if US job scenario gets better, in India also it will have an impact, positive impact. So what do you think about that?
Right. I mean, so as far as US elections goes, it's something that nobody can predict till the results get declared. I mean, so I guess only on November 3rd we'll find out, where the elections are going. But as far as the future of jobs and job creation, I think, I think politicians on either side have to think about the future of jobs and future of the planet, and look at creating more green jobs. And I think, I think they will learn from the pandemic, learn from what we have faced through all this, and plan to build a future economy that is driving green jobs and things like that. And that should create good job economy, irrespective of whoever comes to power, post November next year.
So
yeah,
we
let's hope
should
so.
be.
Let's hope that let's hope that we see somebody taking initiative into creating jobs that are getting us ready for the future.
So though we try to avoid newspapers, but we really cannot avoid it totally. So we keep watching this news about the H-1B visas and the restrictions, and especially recently student visas for the online courses who are doing, there will be sort of student visas would not be given. So those kind of things, and we just sort of think that when things would be back to normal. So let's hope, as you just correctly pointed out, that probably after the
Right.
election things will get better, and it will get better, because there are certain compulsions of the politicians as well, where they have to say all these things, do things before they have to take the course that is needed.
Mhm.
And end of the day, we are all connected. Independent growth, it has to be mutual growth. Right.
Right.
So-
one thing when it is, I think I would add is like H-1B is something that United States is so dependent on. The tech industry is basically heart of every company that in the United States. There's hardly any business that is not dependent on tech. So, and tech is dependent on the H-1B visa program, and it's been a blessing for the United States. Political discussions apart, but so I'm hopeful that things will be back to normal on the visa issues.
So the next point, Yogesh, is that is current time and situation conducive to embark on entrepreneurial journey in US or in India? What is your opinion?
Right, I would say it is definitely a good time to start on if there's an idea that somebody wanted to work on and business. The only thing I would say is that the business opportunities that are going to come forward are going to look different from, I mean, like already there's a lot of innovation in tech happening in India recently. So that is, I see, is going to continue. I mean, so those opportunities is like, improving processes, building applications that improve business processes, and building applications for productivity at home and things like that. I think, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of things to do right now. And it is, to me, it is a very good time to get into entrepreneurial mode right now. I mean, if people are like finding hard to find a job, it's the best time. Like, follow your dream, follow your passion that you wanted to do, and but do it right. And people need to plan it right. People need to understand how the industry is going to look like, and build for the future, not like really. And I already see a lot of people doing that. There's a lot of businesses that have started during the pandemic. There are businesses that have picked up during pandemic or added services during pandemic that were not offered by them prior to the pandemic. Like, I have a friend who does fresh food delivery, fresh vegetable delivery, and then he got into a business. I mean, that's something idea that he had talked about for a while, and then he started with that execution during the pandemic, because that was a perfect time to do. And he's doing deliveries to restaurants and things like that, and he's picking up good in the Nasik area, and he's doing amazing. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good time.
Absolutely. If I can just add to that, see, one point is undeniable, is that cash is in short supply today in the market because of the uncertainty. Okay, so when you talk about investment, when you talk about capital, there are a lot of uncertainties, there are a lot of apprehensions, which we cannot deny. And business, most of the businesses basically depend on the capital or the investment. So people are apprehensive, people are just, sort of buying time to sort of see which way the market direction is taking. But there are some people who are making money, which Yogesh has just mentioned about the delivery boy. And I'm not saying about, they're doing through manipulation or through illegitimate way. No, they are, fully legitimate businessmen. They just turn the crisis into opportunities with their innovative ideas.
Right.
Yogesh mentioned, you mentioned that the delivery boys, for the vegetables. I've seen the delivery boys for the grocery items right here, groceries or vegetables for the societies, building societies. There are groups have been formed, and they're making good money. And also the grocery stores, they were earlier like they're brick and mortar, right? People used to go to the shop and buy the groceries. But today I see there are a lot of grocery shops which they have gone online, and they have totally taken it in a different, following a different model. Like, you download the apps, they'll give you a certain amount of discount, and that's how they are building up the relationship with the customer and taking the business forward. So there is always a way out. It's just that you have to think out of the box and be adaptive to the current situation. And yes, so okay, the next question, which is we were going to talk about earlier, Yogesh, which was about how do you see the artificial intelligence bots, chatbots, changing, or the robots changing the scenery in the future as far as the job market is concerned. What is your opinion?
So to anybody, I would say artificial intelligence is real. I've done work in robotic process automation, RPA, some work in AI, as well as machine learning. And, these things are going to change the way, like the jobs that are available in the market in future. So like you said earlier, 10 years down the line, the job market is going to look completely different. So the monotonous jobs, the jobs that people have been doing that do not require cognitive skills, that are like repetitive and are going to go away eventually. And artificial intelligence and automation is going to take over such jobs. But at the same time, it's going to add more other technological jobs or analytical jobs, and where the cognitive thinking is essential. And those jobs are going to be, the ones that are going to be the future jobs are going to be more in the future. So people have to, and I think those who are of us who are in tech, yeah, definitely, I mean, tech is something which is going to see more work coming in for the during the near future. So but there are other industries, automation is there, control, manufacturing, things are going to look different in manufacturing. And so all of these things, I mean, is yes,
Yeah.
definitely AI and ML is going to play a big role in the future of work.
Yep. So how I look at it is that, of course, they will bring a change. Now, if you think of an employee contributes to his or her organization at 5 levels. Okay, employee can give his time to the company. Employee can sell his skill to the organization. He can sell his experience to the organization. So time, skill, and knowledge. These are the 3 basic components that an employee has to offer to the organization. There are 2 more, which most of the cases we miss out on. One is that the intelligence and the creativity. Right? These are the 5 areas an employee can contribute to an organization's growth. Now, if most of the employees, what happens is that they rely on the first 3: skill, knowledge, and time. Now, if you think as an employee you'll be relying on your skill, knowledge, and time to survive in coming days, then it will be difficult. It's not possible, because you talk about AI, you talk about robots, you talk about all this artificial intelligences. They can work for 24 hours without taking any nap or anything, any break. They can give more time. They have more experience, and I mean in terms of knowledge, because they're fed with knowledge, right? And also they have the skill to perform the jobs. So if your selling point is only 3 things, then your job is at risk, if not today, tomorrow. Only area which can keep you floating or comfortably floating is if you are creative and if you are intelligent, right? So if you have a job which is pretty which can be done just following a standard operating procedure, which can be done by a robot, then it's not needed. You are not needed in the job, right? So if you are creative, that you're giving something extra to that person using your creativity, or you are using your intelligence, right? That's where you are actually making the difference, and that's why you are keeping yourself ahead of your competitors, the people. So that's why I said that today, if I don't have a job and my colleague has, then it's not the problem with the company or the HR or the boss or anybody. It's the problem with me. I have to look inwards. That if the company shut down, I don't have a job, that's understandable. But I don't have a job, and my colleague has, then certainly there is a problem, because I should be the last person to be out of the job, right? So that's how it should be. Like I was talking to you I think earlier, that having like driverless cabs, it was a fanciful thinking, or say robot in a hotel. It was a fanciful thinking few months back. But now COVID situation aggravated. Now we heard, I think 2-3 years back, there was a restaurant in Chennai. They have a robot, steward, right?
Yes.
And it was that time something which was, advanced technology. Now today, I can tell with reasonable confidence and guarantee that most of the, 100% restaurants will be thinking on the same line, provided they can afford it. Because the situation they have gone through. Same with driverless cabs. We were earlier thinking about like Tesla and all those guys were having driverless cars, and we thought that in Indian road it is not needed or not possible. But today, with the situation, I think Uber or Ola would be seriously considering driverless cabs even on the streets of India. So yeah, that's my take on that on that point. So yeah, Yogesh, you agree with that?
Right. No, I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, like, Uber and Tesla are running their projects already in here, Google's project as well on driverless cars. I mean, they did have some setbacks earlier last year, and some of the projects are on the slow down till like some industry norms are set and things like that. But it is going to happen, like you said. I mean, it is going to happen eventually. I mean, it might take some time for these companies to get it right, get the technology right and everything. But yeah, I mean, right now people are driving, Teslas and like even most luxury cars have the basic feature of like aligning whatever they call the lane departure and all that, which makes sure that even if if you let your hands off of steering, the car is not going to go off of the road. So those technologies are already there. I think eventually, I mean, it's not too far that we will have 100% driverless cars on the road pretty soon. So those things are coming, yes.
So the bottom line or the standout line is that one has to think out of conventional ways, right? So far, what you have done isn't going to work. So think about different ways, different strategies, and then you'll be survived. So it's been, and sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that I mean, even governments have to start thinking about all these things. How these things are going to be changing in the future, and what they need to do to create job opportunities for people to survive in this future economy. Because especially with the kind of population in India and the population growth, and with already the job losses and everything that we see in India, things look very devastating. So basically, I mean, there has to be some drastic things that need to be done to address these things. So
absolutely. I second you. And also that's on the government side. But I would be more as a person, as a coach myself, I would look inwards, what change I can bring within myself. Because I totally believe that situation, whatever the situation is, there are people who made more money in last 6 months than their entire lifetime.
Right. True.
So
true.
It's the situation which is same for everyone. It's how you deal with the situation, how different you are in terms of reacting to the situation makes all the difference. It makes you success or your attempts or failure. So absolutely pleasure, fantastic and informative session, Yogesh. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom. A lot of knowledge, positivity, and optimism. And I hope that viewers, I know that the viewers have liked our discussion and find it very helpful. So any closing comments from your side, Yogesh?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, Kaushik, once again, thank you for the opportunity. I think one piece of advice that I will give to your listeners is that, look at this as an opportunity. Look at, realign yourself, focus your energy on learning new things, or adapting to the new normal, and if there's like I said earlier, there's a dream that you always wanted to chase, do those things, and I think the sky's the limit. So let's not get demotivated by everything that has happened over now. Let's look at the future, let's look at tomorrow, and let's work towards it. So that's what I would say.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Yogesh, and thank you so much for to all the viewers for watching us on the. I hope to come back to you with another guest with another perspective, and take care and goodbye. Thank you.